So I have Marc Bovet here sitting, waiting patiently, because we have a lot of people that want to know more about steel construction and about your company. So you ready to go?
Oh, I'm so ready to go.
You were born ready, right?
I'm born ready.
All right, here we go. First, let's talk about how, as president CEO of Bone Structure, it just didn't happen overnight. You may feel like that, maybe not. But it's a lot of work. How did it come about? It's a great story.
I just prefer to be called the official mascot of this company. You know, because having the privilege to come in onto the real estate talk show is definitely is
a highlight.
Is a role of the official mascot.
That's right.
It really came about as I did a major renovation on my own personal house. In fact, I bought a property and needed major renovations, extensions, and so on. And because I'm not the typical handy type of guy, I hired someone that was just as compulsive as I was, that I've known for 23 years, and did the typical Gantt chart and project management as if I was, handling a $300 million project at Bombardier, like in the good old days.
You treated it like a business.
And yep.
Okay.
And sure enough, to make a long story short, even though we've planned all the usual buffers of 2 tsunamis, 2 earthquakes, 2 ice storms, I ended up in a hotel room with my wife and 4 kids. So that kind of...
And it wasn't an overnight stay.
And it wasn't an overnight stay. Now, you don't want me to go back into that time so that I'll get a rash or something. So I could not blame the GC, the general contractor. I blamed myself because there again, I looked at it in terms of process. If I did everything right, what is it for Mr. and Mrs. Jones? What is it for a typical general contractor? How do they go about it without falling off on antidepressors or basically
so
suing someone?
So from this personal experience, which wasn't an ideal one,
yeah,
you realize there's got to be a better way.
There's got to be a better way. And so I traveled the world, literally. I went to the humongous shows, and mostly in Europe and Asia and all that, trying to find the Holy Grail. Didn't find anything. And because I'm a totally clueless type of guy, I just decided to rack up a bunch of crazy people that came from the automotive and aerospace industry and lined it all up, and we just, did the thing.
There you have
it. We just created this better way.
Now, you call this better way. It's not a building system. It's an assembly system. You're not a builder.
In fact, I prefer to say, and we were having a conversation with our staff. We've got already 65 professionals working on daily on this, architects, engineers, industrial designers, and so on. And we're having a meeting Monday morning, and it's clearly a technology. You got to look more at it. It's closer to what an iPhone is, or a microchip into your car, or it's more into that sense. And a technology enables you to do things logically with a certain process into the system. So it's an assembly. It's not construction. It's not construction. We assemble homes. We assemble multi-residential up to 4 floors. We assemble commercial projects. We just did a McDonald's restaurant, and enables us to do so many things. Why? Because the process is in the steel construction method.
All right. Let's talk about that process. Enlighten us a bit.
Well, the key word here is process, process, process. As much as in real estate, it's location.
Yep.
Well, there's some truth to be said. 95% of the builders out there really want to do good, but they're getting a bum rap on reputation. From things like not being on time and not doing it the right way and
over
budget and all the consequences that come in the short, medium, and long term. But the bum rap should be looked at because they're not using the right materials to do the right job. So 95% of the builders out there, believe it or not, build 5 houses or less per year. Now, if we give them a technology that enables them to assemble a house, a home, the proper way, it makes it much more efficient from A to Z and enables all the subcontractors, the electricians, the plumbers, everybody can go about and do their professional job without piercing, cutting, welding, trashing, which is just a no-nonsense. I mean, imagine if you'd buy your new car, open up the trunk when you get home and find a bunch of parts and wires and so on and so forth. You'd wonder, geez, if they finished this car, am I supposed to recycle this stuff?
And is it safe?
And is it safe?
Right.
So it's surprising that we Canadians have not figured out that the most important, the biggest expense in our lifetime,
Investment in our
the
lifetime.
biggest investment in our lifetime is the product that we don't take time to question how it was built.
Right.
You even buy a pair of jeans nowadays. You'll buy a pair of jeans, you pay $100 or $200. You'll find a piece of paper in your pocket that says, you know, Inspector 108 somewhere in the world reviewed the seams and the zippers or the Velcros or whatever before shipping the garment. No such thing in this industry. And it's unfortunate because people are paying through the nose. Not just as there's a lack of process, so there's a lack of efficiency, and there's a lot of people running around. Here again, mind you, they all have the right intentions, don't get me wrong. But too many tools, too many things to look at, too many people that are not necessarily accountable.
So let's go there, Mark. Let's talk about the difference between steel assembly over standard wood construction. Can you touch upon that?
Sure. Here again, our technology is sort of a mechano-rector set.
You say it's mechano on steroids.
It's mechano on steroids, you know. For now, people from my generation, I don't know about yours, but my generation would say it's Lego.
Yeah.
Then again, it all assembles, it all clips one into the other by gravity. All the holes are pre-pierced to put self-tapping screws to secure the system for seismic reasons. All the beams are open up like an aerospace fuselage. So when the time's here again to do the mechanics, it's all open up. No cutting, no piercing, no nothing like that. And it's all assembled with one tool.
And what's that one tool?
Battery pack drill that serves as a, very efficient screwdriver.
So let's talk to the advantages of that. I mean, here we are. When I think of a typical construction site, you have a lot of waste. You have those dumpsters that are full.
Absolutely.
Usually it's messy. Although I always say a great builder tries to maintain it just
Sure.
for that aesthetics, just to keep it nice
Yeah.
and neat and for safety reasons as well. So most try to do a good job of that. But there's just excessive waste. There's a lot of product sitting around that's been delivered but not being utilized.
Yeah.
As a result, sometimes you get waste because it's getting rot or it's sitting around, it's not being utilized.
Yeah.
So these are just some of the things that differ. When your product gets delivered, it arrives, and basically we don't have to worry about it rotting.
It's
we don't
all
have to worry
cut,
about it
make,
wilting.
absolutely not. First of all, it's all galvanized steel.
Okay.
40 to 60% of the steel we use is recycled steel from your old cars, toasters, or whatever. And it's all piece by piece, and it's all man powered. And sure, we could use a little bit of a small boom truck for heavier parts, but it's all assembled, and we do not create waste at all. At least for all of the thermal envelope, which is all the structure, the insulation, the doors and windows. There is no cutting, there is no waste at all. Now, here again, it's funny to look at the human behavior. You can see all of your neighbors running to the sidewalk on Wednesday mornings with that blue bin or that composting, what you call it. And here again, we're saving planet Earth by doing recycling. But guess what? The best recycling thing would be not to recycle anything from the first, from the get-go. So, 60% of the waste, 60% of the waste in our landfills comes from the construction industry. It's definitely not the banana peels that's at the issue here. Definitely not. So, we've looked at this. We've looked at the consequences of building the way we've been building for 400 years. For God's sake, every single product that we use daily, from a big pen, to your shirt, to your watch, to your phone, to your car, to your coffee cups, to your coffee machines, have evolved to a better product, more affordable, that gives you much more for your daily habits.
So I know where you're going with this, but yet you're thinking the construction industry hasn't done its part.
And it has not, and we've studied.
We've become a little more green. You have to, certainly highlight the fact that builders are trying.
They're trying hard, but there's so much to be said about, the marketing of green.
Right.
And there's a lot of, green washing, as we say, in this industry. People are brainwashed and greenwashed. Now, you've got to be consequent with your actions and the way you go about it. We've been building with wood. I'm all for the wood industry, don't get me wrong. We use a lot of wood in our houses in terms of secondary economies for wood, for wood floors and so on.
Access,
and contribute to the economy of the forest industry. But steel doesn't move. It's an inert type of material. It's galvanized steel. In fact, all the skyscrapers around the world are built out of steel, and nobody goes about building a skyscraper for 50 floors up or 100 floors up saying, you know what, I think we'll trash this down after 15 or 20 years.
And do it
There's
again.
no such thing.
Yeah.
And if you look at what even here in the GTA area, you look at places like Don Mills or Oakville and a lot of neighborhoods, some of these houses have been built only in the 70s or the 80s, and they're being trashed
Already.
right now already.
So Mark, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about the bone structure. Also, I think we need to talk about construction time and certainly educate people on how they can learn more and attend some of your great info sessions and bare bone events. So we'll be right back, everybody. Remember, if you've got real estate questions, well, we have your answers. Visit realestatetalkshow.ca. Call our help desk anytime at 844-ASK-RETS. That's 844-ASK-RETS. We'll be right back.